All right, Harold. This is all right. Testing. I think I have everything right. Yeah. Okay, so this is what I've generated with the prompt. All right, so to explain what that is, basically it's supposed to be two parents that are leaving on a trip, and I prompted them that I wanted them talking or saying goodbye to their little girl or whatever, but apparently there wasn't enough time. So you probably have to do like that and have a cut, and then they tell her that they're going, whatever, and the little girl cries, and then whatever. So that was supposed to be like for the opener of the video, but it generated it pretty good. I don't know if I've fully explained the concept of the video, but basically the parents are going to Egypt, and then they get her a trinket, and then the trinket is magical, and it has a singer that pops up, and then all of this stuff pops out and it floats in her room as the singer is singing the song. So that was what my concept was. So I was like, I wonder if I could generate some. Well, where's my prompt? Okay, so the prompt was no glasses. Prompt, subject, African American parents in 1950s business attire. Subject description: the parents have wavy hair and are dressed in warm-colored business suits, trench coats, and fedora hats. The mother is wearing a pillbox hat. Well, they didn't give her a pillbox hat. And I don't think those are the doors. But anyway. This was text to video, so no reference image. So that's the thing. Either a reference image would be generated with character creator / Midjourney, something like that. And then it would just add the camera shot and any emotion that you want in there, right? So you want a cinematic widescreen, that sort of stuff, with a particular color grading, whatever. Thing will go ahead and do the rest for you, but I suspect the best way is either A, build the character out in Icon Character Creator, and then feed it into, like, take stills maybe in Character Creator, and then bring those stills into Kling, and then Kling generate 5-second video. So this was the idea, but it says the parents are getting into a period vehicle. Obviously there's no vehicle, so it was a bit aggressive, but never did it. That's my first prompt. The parents are at home preparing to leave for the airport. The house and rainy environment are in the background. Camera language and lighting, cinematic, warm lighting with a nostalgic 1950s film look, atmosphere emotional and melancholic with a sense of departure and longing. So obviously that would have to be split into several prompts, several scenes to get it. But the idea was to have an interesting opener that leads into the actual action in the song. So that was my creative vision. And then I did another one, which was based on the character that we actually have. And let me find it. I don't know the user interface yet, so I have no clue. But I think I should be able to do like all videos. And I did it in a separate account, I think. Yeah, it is. Alright, so is this coming out or not? Oh, no. Are you able to see anything? I think not. Okay, I just described one video, so let me, I think casting must be active and in front. So let me stop casting. I'm not running it. Alright, so now I do see it on Studio One. So I'll tell you about the prompt on this one in a minute, but the character morphs, right? So maybe I should pause that so it won't be a distraction. And then I'll go back to the one that I just described. So this is the one of the parents for the little girl that's being told the story about Knights over Egypt. And they're going away. And, you know, ultimately we lead into a situation where but it did a pretty good job of a 5-second clip. It's just that text to video, well, you know, that's what they imagine based on what I said. There are cars moving in the background, I noticed, but not what I was intending. You know, if there were a car pulled up outside and they were going, instead of coming in the house, they were actually leaving, going towards the car, and the little girl was maybe seen between them, and maybe, you know, I don't know, grandma or babysitter in the background. But the idea was just to have, you know, an opening shot that kind of leads into the situation before it gets into the fantastical part with the song and everything. So, but we can go over that in more detail later. But there it is, it's a 5-second clip, and the quality is extremely good, but it didn't adhere to the prompt that well, but I didn't try to adjust the prompt weights or anything like that, how much it hears, how creative it is. And again, this was text to video, so, you know, it's on tighter rails if you give it an image, like an opening shot and or a closing shot, which you probably would have to try to generate consistently using Midjourney. You know, but there's nothing that says I couldn't snag a shot out of this and then tell Midjourney, then tell Kling that these characters are leaving, or, you know, or a shot with these two turning towards the door, a car pulls up outside. You know what I mean? Something like that, simple. And then it'll generate that shot. And then you take another image out of here and, you know, maybe have them looking down and the little girl's looking up, right? So maybe they're framing the little girl, you know. But anyway, you get the point. Feeding image in to start the generation rather than just letting it dream up the whole situation. And then obviously having more control by generating your image in Midjourney until she's wearing the right hat, you know, maybe he's wearing a different hat, you know, maybe whatever, you know, he looks different, whatever, until you get that seed image, you just iterate. And then you spend your credits on the video generation, and hopefully you get something closer to what you want. And if you can do it within 8 minutes, then, you know, who knows, you could have it open. The other thing is that, you know, you do have the ability to say that you want, you know, a wide shot, a close-up, you know, a bird's eye view, you know, a low-angle shot, all kinds of stuff like that. But anyway, you just get descriptive in the props. So I've been doing a little bit of research on driving it, you know, with better props. But this was the first pass. I did say that I wanted warm tones and I wanted them in warm colored clothes and trench coats. I don't know if it was in that prompt. But anyway, I broke those prompts down further, realizing that this was going to be a bit much, but I just didn't know that was going to be 3 hours just to get this first one out. So, am I satisfied with the image quality? Definitely. Do I think it needs to be upscaled? For my eyes, I'm okay. Upscaling it, you know, the video I'll put later, because this is for me full screen on the, you know, 16:9 aspect ratio, and I think it holds up good enough for a music video, right? And the clip. But when you need to go, you know, 4K, upscalers are definitely better. All right, so that was that one. probably the one that is of least interest. This one, well, I went into iClone and I found a frame that I thought was decent. And this one does look like it's a lot softer than the original image. So that begs a couple questions. I could have rendered it out. I think I rendered it out at 1080p from iClone. So that image probably could have stood to be upscaled. I'm not sure what the maximum is. I think you have a 10 megabyte limit. I don't remember how many megs this image was when I uploaded it to Kling, but I would think that it was probably, I hate to guess, but I hope it was significantly less than 10 megs. I rendered it out as a PNG. You know the scene, you know the talent. And so I was thinking that, would it consistently hold her face? But it's not like we started with a close-up, so it took a lot of liberties. The prompt is... Okay, well, I guess I should I'll just let it play. And obviously this could be slowed down. And watching the gentleman that, she was only sitting down, so there was no animation that we had. So they took from her sitting down to this, right? And, it kind of, it's interesting. The outfit held up, but we got a different face. It looks like the hair on the top was good. It looks like they may have changed the thing on top of the head a little bit. The snake? That is a snake, right? So, there's certain things that you want to start with a good start image and an end image. It looks decent. I mean, you can pull it apart because I see that right hand is not doing so well. It kind of warps and morphs. But they say that you can limit the motion and the camera move speed. So you could say, she stands up and, the camera moves slowly and she subtly raises her hand to, touch her hair or whatever. But they say you have to iterate until you're satisfied with that arm, or whatever. But for the most part, I mean, that sky and that moon wasn't there, right? So I'll tell you what the prompt was. And even if you have to cut, when you go to this shot, you go from somewhere that's acceptable, but figures are still a challenge. And I think when you have full shots with limbs and stuff, you might just have to prompt it in such a way that it does it. Like the arms is not really a big part of what it is. Maybe she just stands up and her arms are hanging softly down at her side, you know what I mean? But when the hands, are featured as much, you could, if you needed a still image, you know what I mean? You could get one, but trying to have even that subtle motion in there, once the hand settles down, from probably here on, if you would, there, you know what I mean? If you would try to take something like that. But obviously we have an Egyptian woman or something. But generating for what we already had, it did a damn good job. It's just that it didn't hold the character, right? So that's why you might want to train the model and feed a model in so that it doesn't go from where she was to where she becomes somebody else. Like, she's already in the act of becoming from the moment she kind of gets past here. And then she morphs into somebody else. So that's the learning curve, right? But I think having a trained model based on the images and videos that we have already will probably help us get more consistency. Okay. All right. So, but I'm kind of impressed with everything else. Well, obviously not the arm, but like the whole fact that they were able to push in, we still have the same environment, and they added the stars and the moon up there. So I think that's pretty good. So what was the prompt? And then I can regenerate and work for, wait for several more hours. I won't bother to burn those credits now, because I think those credits will transfer when I actually subscribe. So what was the prompt? Okay, and it looks like you can save your prompts. I just saw a little save icon right there. After a prompt preset is saved, it will be displayed and get inspiration from my presets. So there you go. You can save and come back and keep going. Queen stands up and looks up and strikes an Egyptian pose. That might be the thing that led to the R's. Stars in the sky, moon rising, lighting, flashing, lightning flashing. I didn't see any lightning flashing, but stars and the moon are in the sky. Water ripples and warm firelight flickers on the walls. Cinematic camera pushes in. I should have said slowly, and Queen slowly stands up and looks up, strikes an Egyptian pose. Probably throw that away, but that's where you gotta experiment. And then again, I think trying to generate based on a pre-existing model, and I'm gonna rewatch that video. Playback speed, let's play it back at quarter speed. Alright, that might be too slow. Might be. I also don't believe we had those earrings. Alright, so now let's go back to playback speed, half speed. It's gonna be fun, man, to work it out. I'm glad we started with the Egyptian one, because now I see the potential, man. Now it's just about, tweaking until you get like that production value. So I would say, like this is, I wonder if I would have started with like a close-up, because we have the character, you know what I mean? If we would have had an end frame of the character in that kind of pose, or a pose, right? Because a portrait is a face and a hand. But if you start with the character, and maybe if you want to not, like if you want to hedge your bet, you could say she raises her right hand or her left hand to her hair. You're like, don't go for two. You got two chances to go wrong. But starting with character creator and having your costume is good, right? Because it's got something to work with, right? So you could still kind of stage your scene like we did. See, this is different than just letting Midjourney generate an environment, right? If you want to kind of direct it, starting with content in character creator iClone is a good way to go, but you definitely want to provide a start frame and an end frame. Definitely you want sharpening or upscaling. And then maybe you could get something a whole lot. Now imagine she started singing. It's going to be interesting to see what it becomes, but I'm beginning to think that this is probably going to end up being the highest production value. Getting that start frame, the end frame, and a good prompt. I was a little disappointed in that there is motion in the water though. I'm happy with the stars. I was gonna actually get a starry back. You see that first frame, how it's gray back there? That's what I fed it. And then they put the stars and the moon in. So they were responsible for the push, the stars and the moon. I like how they revealed the moon as she looks up. I mean, I think that was creative for AI, right? They push in, and as they get closer, they start to tilt up. And I think I did say she looks up and strikes an Egyptian pose, right? And she walked forward. She didn't just stand. She walked to the camera. 1, 2, and boom. It's kind of mesmerizing, actually. I could see that being in a story or a movie. Yeah, this thing, it has potential, man. The water is rippling. I'm trying to see what I'm missing. Like, I just didn't get the light flickering. See, I probably should have had some urns off to the side with fire, where they could put the fire, or put in a particle effect in that still shot, and then they would have to animate the flames, and then they might be more apt to actually cause the flickering. And they probably figured with a starry, moonlit sky, there wouldn't be a whole lot of need for lightning. So maybe they overruled me and said, "What are you talking about, man? We got you. You don't need no lightning in this shot." But I think the dynamic flickering in the hall there would have been really nice, a nice touch. And maybe we could have got some warm flicker lights from the side. But that shit's mesmerizing. I gotta turn it off. Yeah, like boom. Like if we would have had that frame with the actual talent. Right. And really they would have been responsible. They generated this lighting and they did a good butterfly light right there. Like they said queen, they said a queen is regal, right? I mean, if she would have been smiling or something, it probably wouldn't even held up as much as it's holding up right here. It was just a gaze. So yeah, man, this is gonna be good. I think this is gonna be my Cecil D. Was it Cecil D. Mills? What's that dude's name? Jamil? Cecil B. That's what I've been prompted. I've been telling in the style of Cecil B. DeMille's, right? Egyptian hall with lights flickering. Oh man, So this was probably going to be, yeah, I'm going to work on that one. That's just going to be my masterpiece. I just want to get the character consistent. Okay, so we went over it. My prompting skills will get sharper, and you know, still have 346 credits. So that's where we are with that. Hopefully the subscription will get us down from 3 hours to 8 minutes. All right, we'll see what happens. I heard that you can get 3 to 8 minutes somewhere, depending, probably on traffic. All right, I'm gonna let that go, and then let me get you the other stuff offline. Thanks.